Hello, welcome to Mr. A's Maths Today. Here's today's question. When you're ready, pause and give it a go. We are definitely in higher territory now. Higher paper question, 3 marks. So let's take a look. Using bounds in a practical context. The petrol consumption of a car in litres per 100 kilometres is given by this formula. They've given me a formula. Nathan's car travelled 148 kilometres, correct to 3 significant figures. So this is a number that might have been rounded. The car used 11.8, correct to 3 significant figures. Again, this is the number that may have been rounded. Nathan says, my car used less than 8 litres of petrol per 100 kilometres. Petrol consumption. Could Nathan be wrong? We know if Nathan's wrong, if the upper bound is bigger than 8. So it's basically saying, what is the upper bound? Notice the word bounds hasn't been mentioned in this question. You're expected to realise it's bounds. And it's because they've told you things have been rounded, they've given you the figures after the rounding, and they've said, okay, using this formula, could this be correct? Or could it be incorrect? So let's have a look. I want the upper bound. I'm going to work out the bounds for the figures before we begin. Nathan's car travelled 148 to 3 significant figures. 148. As I said, it's the 8 that has possibly been rounded. I'm going to round that up by 1. I'm going to round it down by 1. Lower bound is in the middle of these two values. Upper bound is in the middle of those two values. 147.5, 148.5. Lower bound, upper bound. Let's do the same for the amount of petrol used. 11.8 litres. Correct to 3 significant figures. It's this figure that has possibly been rounded. Let's round it up by 1. Let's round it down by 1. Let's pick the numbers in the middle to find my lower bound and my upper bound. Often enough to get you a mark. I sometimes put it in a table. I don't think I'm going to bother on this question, although I usually do, to be fair. I'm just not going to right now. I want to see if this can be more than 8. I need to find out if it's more than 8. I want this to be as big as possible. Well, 100 is just a number. I'm not going to change that. They've told me the number is 100. That hasn't been rounded. Number of litres of petrol used. I want this to be as big as possible. So I need the thing I'm dividing into to be as big as possible, but I'm going to use the lower bound for that. So I know my consumption, my petrol, equals 100 times number of upper bound for number of litres of petrol. This one, and I want the lower bound for the number of kilometres travelled. It's the 148. The lower bound, I want it to be 147.5. Going to turn to my trusty calculator, which gives me 8.033898305. So Nathan's petrol consumption at the upper bound is bigger than the 8. So he didn't definitely use less than 8. He might have used less than 8. There's also a chance he's used more than 8. Could Nathan be wrong? The reason it says you must show your answer is because if you just put yes or no, that's a guess. You score absolutely 0 even if you get it right. Could Nathan be wrong? Nathan could be wrong. So we're just finishing off with a sentence. Nathan could be wrong because the upper bound is greater than 8 litres. So that's my closing sentence. This type of question, when you're asked to justify something, when you're asked to give a yes or a no answer, you need to round it off at the end. Nathan could be wrong because the upper bound is greater than 8 litres. It's only just greater than 8 litres, but it's still at the upper bounds of his values. He could have used more than 8. I hope that makes sense. When you're ready, pause the video and give today's challenge question a day. Don't forget to pop your answers in the comments below. I really do want people to start commenting on each other's answers. If I've made a mistake or I could do things a little bit better, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, a little bit of maths today keeps those bad grades at bay. Bye for now.